So one day, my pastor Kathy and I went out for a cup of tea, and I was venting to her my frustrations, how annoyed I was, how burned out I was. And her advice to me was rest in your success. I'm thinking to myself, what on earth are you talking about, Kathy? Rest in my success? I was raised by workaholic entrepreneurs. I'm married to a workaholic, both of my sisters. I am a workaholic. There is no resting. There's always something to do, always. So, okay, Kathy, I'll try to rest in my success someday, whatever that means, whenever I feel like I'm successful. But then I got to thinking about it a little bit more. Kathy is the kind of person, when she's frustrated, you'll never know it. She's always joyful. She's always calm. Maybe calm's not the right word. She's pretty high energy, but there's always a sense of peace and safety. Like there's a calm sense of safety. Like she knows it's going to be okay. So what does she have there that I don't? How do I rest in my success if I don't even feel like I've ever succeeded? So I'm going along singing a song, and another day, a different mentor of mine said, you're already complete, you're already whole, and you're already resourceful. So again, I was a little flippant, thinking to myself, sure, okay, Ronit, I haven't felt that way for 38 years. Why now all of a sudden would that feel differently? Again, I got to thinking about it a little bit more deeply. And probably because I listened to a whole lot of Graham Cook, he tells this little joke about how there's no frustration in heaven. Could you possibly imagine God being frustrated? No, God is never frustrated or annoyed or burned out. Why? Because he is the resource. And if we are already made complete and whole in his image, therefore we are resourceful. That means we are fully resourced in him. So we are complete and whole too. I already know it's true. It's true. Maybe you're thinking, okay, Sarah, whatever, that sounds nice for you, but I'm just sitting over here feeling a little bit broken. Listen, friends, Mark 11:24, whatever you ask for in prayer, believe that you have received it and it will be yours. Ask, believe, receive. It's that simple. Because we have already received it, because he has already resourced us fully. So if it doesn't feel like this is happening for you, it's because you're telling yourself all kinds of things preventing you, blocking you from receiving what you've asked for. And I only know that because I have told my own self lies for years. They sound like I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, it's not happening fast enough. I wish I was prettier. I wish I was taller. I wish I was thinner. I wish I could have the thing that she has over there. Why can't I have that too? I have embellished lives like this to myself so many times. And what's happening at the same time that I'm telling myself those kinds of lies, I'm actually diminishing what is true, the truth that he gave me, the truth that he gives me all the time, because he's already made me complete and whole in his resources. So what about 2 Timothy chapter 1, verse 7? The spirit that God gave you is not timid, it is not fearful, it is strong, and it is powerful, and it is full of love and self-honesty. He would never give you frustration and burnout. He loves you, and he gave you the ability to think freely. So what does that mean? That means that you have a choice. You can choose again. You can choose to examine your own thoughts and your own feelings and your perceptions with self-respect, with curiosity, with honesty, and with honor. So to borrow freely from Byron Katie, she would say, is this thought true? How do you know this thought is true? Who would you be without that thought? Can you even imagine a world where that thought doesn't exist? So let's take a thought like, I'm not good enough. Is that true? How can I know that that is true for me? If God is my resource and I believe and I receive that thought, then there is no way on earth, no way in heaven, and surely no way in hell that it's true that I'm not good enough. Because he's already made me complete and already resourced me, and he's already made me whole in his image, which means that I must already merely be even good enough. Who would I be without that thought? I would be free. I would feel calm. I would be peaceful. Kind of like Pastor Kathy says, fully alive and fully free. Exactly like that. That, my friends, is what it means to rest in your success. That's the full circle. Without the thought that I'm not good enough, I wouldn't be frustrated. I would be free. And that's exactly what I want. So that's what I did. I chose again. I chose a new thought, one rooted in love, one rooted in joy, peace, patience, goodness, kindness, gentleness, faithfulness, and self-control. And now the trick is to remember these resources in times of stress and struggle. There will always be something, there will always be someone who challenges your peace. So now my only focus is not on the outcome of my worldly success. Now my focus is on making that pause, that moment to stop and think, that moment to drink from his well of living water whenever it is that I think that I'm getting frustrated. Because the answer is always there. And for me right now, at least, it's almost always revealed in the fruits of the Spirit. I was talking to a friend of mine. He's very well traveled. He's from Mexico, but whenever I do talk to him, he's somewhere else in the world. And we were talking specifically about staying in presence, staying in the presence of God, staying in that frame of mind that is always free and always open and always aware. And he was telling me this story about a Sufi mystic traveling through the desert with his disciple, and they have a camel. They got into the hotel very late at night. The disciple decided he was too tired to even bother tying up the camel, so he prayed to God to take care of the camel and fell promptly asleep. Of course, in the morning when they woke up, the camel was long gone. The master asked what happened. The disciple came back with something like, I don't know, I prayed to God about it. Look what happened. You're the one that's always telling me to trust in God. So you ask him what happened to the camel, right? The mystic replies very simply, trust God, but tether your camel because the only hands he has to work with are yours. Trust in God, tether your camel because the only hands God has to work are yours. Put another way, God helps those who help themselves, right? Now, let me bring this full circle because I have already outed myself as a recovering workaholic, entrepreneur, small business owner. I'm not saying that returning to the frantic task list that burned you out in the first place is the point. What I am saying is you are already complete, you are already resourced, and you are already whole, and God gives you what you ask for if you believe, and it's still up to you to take action and walk in the purpose that he has put on your heart. That's where the rubber meets the road. And let me tell you, that road isn't frustrating, and you don't feel burned out if you're on the straight and narrow path. It's energizing, it lights you up, it somehow is restful because there's no other distraction, there's no other road to be on but the one where he is walking toward you and you are walking toward him. And he's a quickening spirit who is not shy and he has no fear. And so when you stop looking at the world that the map gives you and you look only in his direction, you get right on the path. It is smooth, it is straight towards him. You will get to your destination sooner because there is no other distraction. On that road, you can put it on cruise control, and that's where you can rest in your success. That's what Kathy meant. And that's exactly where I have come full circle with the advice that she gave me more than a year ago, resting in your success, because I didn't know what she meant for such a long time. I was like, I don't feel successful. Everything I'm trying to do is ending in failure. And once I took those thoughts of failure off of my heart and I gave them back to God, he was like, you're not failing. You're doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing. Just keep walking on the path. And now my mindset is, look at everything I've learned. There's no way I would have been ready for the kind of success I've been asking for at that time because I wasn't ready. I didn't know what I wasn't asking for the right thing. And now it's so simple. I know the success that I've asked for is coming, and I'm enjoying the process that he's giving me. And it is so restful. It's so peaceful. And my whole goal in this video is that you can find that peace too.